issues that can arise. Each party may have a substantially different set of pre-understandings, of presuppositions of what would fill in the gaps that are left by a short written contract. So I think it is important when negotiating from nation to nation, and particularly the more different cultures are, to have that longer agreement, even if it seems tedious, even if it produces greater expense, because it's important to deal with matters that might be otherwise left unsaid where parties have substantially different understandings. Finally, in fact, I have a whole lecture on this. I won't give it to you because it's a law lecture, but I could say much more. And finally, on this slide, the American perspective is that relationships can be better if the parties work through contingencies in advance. Negotiating American contracts, American lawyers often use flowcharts. Well, what if this happens? What should then be resolved? So the American attorneys will think in terms of contingencies from the likely to the most obscure, but wish to address even the most obscure contingency in written contractual form. Just be aware of that various approach. Communication, let's go to my second point here. Social scientists tell us that approximately 70% of all communication is nonverbal. That's important. To understand that the words we speak, while certainly important, of great significance, are not the primary means by which communication takes place. Physical gestures, posture, eye contact, standing, sitting, form of sitting, all of these things communicate in ways that we do not perceive unless we are trained to be aware of how those nonverbal matters of communication are indeed very significant. Finally, and then this is in fact the end, finally, another comment that relates to perhaps cultural differences. Americans have always been known for risk-taking. That is not surprising because America was settled principally by Europeans who left their homes, left their intact families, left a solid culture, and moved to a frontier. Of course, they moved to a nation which already had inhabitants, the natives of America, but they were given short shrift for this first 200 or 300 years of Western colonization of the American continent. So Americans tend to be risk-taking people, both by cultural heritage and by cultural support today. That's just the way we are. Not every American, of course, but the way we are as a people, as a culture. And whether that is true of your culture is not important to me in and of itself, but it's important for you to understand that is the American style, and that we, as a people, undertake risks, are willing to undertake risks in the service of our interests. Well, I hope those comments are somewhat helpful, and appreciate this opportunity to have spoken to you. Thank you.
Thank you for this precise and excellent lecture on the negotiation. I remember every very essence of this presentation, and I don't even have to repeat it 3 times. And now let's move to our final speaker from Professor Wang to share more on IPR.
Thank you for your attention. As most of the audience are Chinese speaking, so the following presentation will be presented in Chinese. However, most of my PPT is written in English, so our honorable guests could read from the PPT to get some idea for them trying to present. 那等一下，如果副校长到了，所以就麻烦 stop 我的这个 token， 那让这个时间 control 比较好一点。 点。那我今天要跟大家报告的就是有关于这个专利证券化的部分嘛，那是一个 new concept， 一个新的这个概念。那首先我给大家看一下，就是我们今天讲了很多不同的这个知识产权的一个应用，但是我简单给大家看，那其实每一个产业有它特别的特性。我们来看一下，就说这个这是医药产业比较有名的公司，你看到辉瑞、施贵宝 （Bristol Myers）、Merck、Abbott 雅培是做新美益奶粉，大家知道。那 Merck 是做很多的疫苗。那最近这个新流感流行，所以这个疫苗是这个主要两个 medical company，one is Merck， 那以来利是做抗生素。那你可以看到，这是我以前工作过的公司哦，它的 per active patent 每一个有效的专利，它每一年可以赚超过25个100万美元。我们现在讲的是 million dollars， 可是我们相对过来看半导体，我们说台湾的半导体业其实最发达，但是半导体每一个 active 的这个 patent 每一年能够赚的钱，大概即便是 Intel 一年也只有撑到1 million， 就是大概800万美元。那为什么呢？因为其实半导体的产业里面，你知道要投资很多，台湾的半导体厂每一个都至少跟我们国家借了大概100亿，然后它有很多国家的支持。那么它的 infrastructure， 它整个这个建设花很多的钱，所以还有它的这个专利上面，大部分都是叠床架屋，只有这个 minor 的 improvement， 就是很小的一个变化，它比较不像生物科技或医药产业，它可以是非常 innovative， 那所以它的这个价值是比较没有那么高。但是我们回头来看，那生技产业他们都怎么做？其实很多的新创产业，像 Engine 已经是一个 successful company。那你可以看到它的这个 revenue， 这个是它卖东西的，这个部分是专利的收入。那对于特别是像我们这些小研发人，或者是学校单位、新创公司，或者是一些需要大资金的这个单位呢，其实我们讲专利证券化变成是一个